The National Institute of Health has corrected what it calls the untruthful assertions by NIH Director Collins and NIAID Director Fauci that the NIH did not fund gain-of-function research in Wuhan. WBKO News reporter Allie Hennard spoke with Kentucky Senator Rand Paul this morning, who has questioned Dr. Fauci on numerous occasions, claiming he did fund the research.
He kept saying, no, we didn't do it. We didn't do it. Until last night, they admitted, yes, we did do it.
The National Institutes of Health now admitting to funding gain-of-function research in Wuhan, despite repeated denials from Dr. Anthony Fauci that U.S. tax dollars were used.
So the head of the Congressional Oversight Committee from the House of Representatives demanded the information, and for once we got somebody who actually responded and told the truth. See, I've been asking my counterparts, Democrats across the aisle, to investigate this, not for partisan reasons, but because both sides should want to prevent another pandemic from occurring.
In a letter to Representative James Comer, ranking member of the House Committee on Oversight and Reform, an NIH official admits that a limited experiment was conducted in order to test if spike proteins from naturally occurring bat coronaviruses circulating in China were capable of binding to the human ACE2 receptor in a mouse model.
Right now we have a virus that's up, the whole world has been turned on its head, and it has a 1% mortality. Can you imagine if they create something in the lab that has 15% mortality or 50% mortality? Some of the viruses they've been experimenting with in Wuhan have 50% mortality. So this isn't just about Dr. Fauci lying. This is about trying to make sure we don't get an even worse plague or pandemic that comes out of a lab. We do this research in our country. It needs to be looked at.
Dr. Fauci has tested before Congress, stating multiple times that NIH does not fund gain-of-function research in Wuhan. But Senator Paul has insisted that Fauci is lying to Congress.
But he's now being disingenuous, saying he's never been a supporter of it. He's the world's biggest supporter of gain-of-function. He said that many, many times, but now the truth has come out. Even the NIH admits that Dr. Fauci was lying. And so, yes, Dr. Fauci's been avoiding the truth for months and months and months.
Paul responded to the news on Twitter saying, quote, "I told you so," doesn't even begin to cover it here.
This is a big deal because now the NIH is admitting gain-of-function research did occur in Wuhan, and it was funded by the lab. And there's also been a cover-up of this for over a year now. He should accept responsibility and immediately resign and step down from government.
The lab mice infected with the modified virus became sicker than those that were given the unmodified virus, according to Tabak. As sometimes occurs in science, this was an unexpected result of the research, as opposed to something that the researchers set out to do, Tabak said. Gain-of-function research refers to viruses being taken from animals before they are genetically altered in a lab to make them more transmissible to humans. The admission from the NIH officially directly contradicts Fauci's testimony to Congress in May and July when he denied the U.S.-funded gain-of-function projects in Wuhan. Fauci has repeatedly clashed with Republican senators, including Randy Paul of Kentucky, who have accused him of lying about the gain-of-function research. Tabak, who did not use the term gain-of-function in his letter but alluded to it, said EcoHealth, which is run by British scientist Peter Daszak, failed to comply with the terms of the grant, which required it to report immediately a 1 log increase in growth. EcoHealth failed to report this finding right away, as required by the terms of the grant. EcoHealth has been notified that they have 5 days from today to submit to the NIH any and all unpublished data from the experiments and work conducted under this award, Tabak said. According to Tabak, the NIH had reviewed EcoHealth's research plan in advance of approving the grant, but claims it wasn't subjected to additional review at the time, as it did not fit the definition of research involving enhanced pathogens of pandemic potential because these bat coronaviruses had not been shown to infect humans. Tabak said if the EcoHealth had alerted the NIH to the growth, it would have prompted a review to determine if the research plan should be re-evaluated. He insisted that the bat coronaviruses studied under the NIH grant could not have become COVID-19 because the sequences of viruses are genetically very distant. Yeah, right. As recently as last month, Fauci was accused of lying about gain-of-function research after documents obtained by The Intercept detail grants given to EcoHealth Alliance for bat coronavirus studies. What's to say that they just didn't release the research that they did on the current virus that's running amok in the world? The grant proposed a detailed trove of documents that was project titled Understanding the Risk of Bat Coronavirus Emergence, which involves screening for thousands of bat samples, as well as people who work with live animals for novel coronaviruses. The $3.1 million grant was awarded for a 5-year period between 2014 and 2019. After the grant funding was renewed in 2019, it was suspended by the Trump administration in April of 2020. The grant directed $599,000 to the Wuhan Institute of Virology for the bat coronavirus research. The proposal acknowledged the risk of such research, saying, field work involves the highest risk of exposure to SARS or other COVIDs, while working in caves with high bat density overhead and the potential for fecal dust to be inhaled.